Welcome to our stress relieving, gentle, and calming yoga practice. Today, we are going to hold each posture for a little longer, focusing on stillness and deep breathing. This practice is recommended for all levels. All you need is to fully relax into the pose, allowing it to release tension in your muscles without discomfort. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Sit in Vajrasana on your mat with your back straight and place your hands on the knees. A long deep inhale, extend your spine and look up, gently pressing your palms on the knees to feel the stretch. Slowly exhale, round your spine and look down. Again, inhale, lift your ribcage higher and look up. Exhale, drawing your navel into the spine and look down. One more time, inhale. This time, take your hands up, clasp each elbow with the opposite hand, extend your spine and look up. Sending that energy forward through the sternum and the tailbone as they tilt towards the sky. Allowing this movement here to stretch the muscles of the back and chest. And then release the arms, reach them up towards the sky and exhale, bring your hands down. Gently release from Vajrasana and begin to extend your legs towards the front of your mat to come in staff pose. Now if possible, try to reach for your shins or your ankles with your hands and just breathe into the pose. Be sure to keep your feet flexed and your legs fully active. Now if you can do a little more, try grabbing your feet, lengthen your spine and feel the gentle stretch in your hamstrings, calves and spine. Keep your back as straight as possible. After a few deep breaths, release the hands to sit back in your staff. Bend your right knee and bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh, relaxing the knee down. A deep inhale, bring length into your spine, flex your left foot, raise both arms up and then as you exhale, begin to fold forward from the hips. Bring your head down towards the extended leg. If you can't reach for your left foot, stay into the half bend, maintaining length in your spine. Or maybe try deepening your fold with each out breath. Make sure that you keep the center of your heart lifted up as you come for your forward fold. If you're struggling with those tight hamstrings, then this pose will just make you feel better, as it helps in opening up your leg and back muscles and at the same time relieves stress and calms your mind. If you are a beginner, do not try to pull yourself forcefully into the forward fold. Rather, try using a strap around the ball of your foot and then slowly prepare your body to reach for your foot. Focus on taking deep breathings into the pose. Release, lift your back up and now repeat the same on the other side. Bend your left knee and bring its sole to right inner thigh, pressing the left knee comfortably on the floor. On an inhale, extend your torso, stretch the arms and exhale. Slowly bend forward from your hip space to grab that right foot. Try reaching for your toe or ankle, or if you're more open, interlace your fingers in front of your right foot. Hold on to the pose and breathe slowly and deeply. If you are a beginner, it is extremely important that you ease carefully into the pose. Never try to overstretch, as that may cause an injury. Make sure that you keep that bent leg perfectly active. This asana is just helping you to stretch your entire body, relieving tightness and stiffness in your back and your leg region, while at the same time bringing calmness to the mind, relieving it from stress and anxiety. Some more deep breathings into the pose. And finally, inhale, sit back up to release the pose. Stretching the left leg out and then preparing to come into your tabletop. And let's do some cat-cow stretch here. As you inhale, move into your cow pose. Press your chest forward, lift your head, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. On an exhale, come into cat pose. Round your spine outward, releasing your head towards the floor and relax. Again, inhale, arch for cow pose. Take your gaze straight ahead and exhale, round for cat pose. One last time, inhale, get into your cow pose. Lift your head and tailbone up towards the sky and try getting deeper into the stretch. But do not put any unnecessary pressure on your neck. On exhale, round your spine towards the sky, pulling your navel in towards your spine, allowing your neck to release. This stretch has warmed up your spine well for the further postures. Come out of the pose, tuck your toes under. Inhale and on an exhale, press through your hands and lift your hips back and up to get into downward facing dog. Draw your navel into the spine and relax your neck. Now we step forward with our right knee, sliding the left leg back, squaring those hips towards the front. A big deep inhale, draw your navel into the spine, lengthening through the upper body. And as you exhale, get into a forward bend over your right leg. Take long and smooth breaths into the pose. Be careful about balancing the weight equally on both sides as best as you can. Continue to breathe, allowing your hips here to get rid of any kind of tightness. If bending forward does not work for you, you may use a block to rest your forearms onto that. And if you are a beginner, do not just jump into getting a deeper stretch. Instead, go for the modifications, variations, or support your body with the props. Just focus on the inhales and exhales of your breath. Holding it for some more counts, then lifting back up, curling the back toe and coming into your upside down V again. Now, bring your left leg forward, placing your knee on the floor. A deep inhale, bring length in your spine. And exhale as you fold forward, maintaining the alignment of your hips and sacrum. If needed, use blocks or a blanket as a support under your arms. This resting pose is a wonderful way to relieve backache, stiffness in the shoulders or neck, release tightness in the hips and the lower back. Staying here for some long, deep and smooth breaths. If you really want to be open with your hips, just approach the supported pigeon rather than choosing some other deep hip stretches. Let your focus be on your breath and just notice the sensations arising in the hips and the entire body with an open mind. This pose will do a great job at opening up your hip flexors and improves the range of motion in the hips. Beginners should always go for the resting pigeon as that does not allow them to put too much weight into the hips. Release the pose. Inhale, tuck the back toe under. And exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Now drop your knees down to the floor, spreading them wider, back straight. Take a moment here to bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale deeply and as you exhale, bring your head down to the floor. You can either stretch your arms out to the front or keep your hands underneath your forehead, whatever way you are comfortable. If you are struggling with those tired hips, then place a cushion in between your legs. Also, you can keep those knees together instead of separating them if that is more comfortable to you. This is such a gentle pose to stretch the lower back, hips, thighs, while relieving all the stress and tension out of your mind and body. Keep taking slow breaths into your belly and chest. You may bring your hands out to the sides to give some rest to your shoulders. This pose will allow you to listen to your body's inner voice and do what it tells you. Stay for as long as you're comfortable. Now, come out of the pose to come into your all fours again. Then place your forearms on the floor. Make sure that your elbows are directly under your shoulders. A deep inhale into your lungs, and then as you exhale, curl your toes under and lift your knees off the floor. As you straighten your legs, try lifting the tailbone higher and lowering the heels towards the floor. No worries if your heels can't touch the floor. If you find any discomfort in keeping your forearms parallel to each other, then interlace your fingers as that provides you more strength to hold the pose for a longer period of time. This pose energizes and strengthens your full body. If your back starts rounding, keep the knees bent to maintain length in the spine. Be watchful about keeping the neck relaxed and in line with the spine. Breathe and try to get deeper into the pose. Slowly drop your knees to the floor and sit back up in Vajrasana. And now we come into our all fours again. Inhale and exhale, step your right leg towards the edge of your mat. Walk your back leg towards the back as far as is comfortable, dropping its knee to the floor, then release your elbows to the floor. Keep your gaze in front of you. Keep your spine long and let your hips sink forward and low towards the ground. Use your breath to get more deeper into the pose and then letting it to strengthen the inner thigh muscles on the front leg. This pose helps in opening the hips, hamstrings, and hip flexors. Be mindful about keeping that back as flat as you can, even if you release that neck down for a few seconds while practicing this pose. Exit the pose and get back into your all fours to switch the pose on the other side. Step your left leg forward towards the edge of your mat, dropping right knee to the floor. Lower the upper body by bringing the forearms to the floor. Take deep breathings into the pose and feel the stretch in your hips and inner thighs. Continue to lengthen the spine and keep your core engaged throughout as you push your hips more to the front. This pose helps to increase the flexibility and mobility of your hips and relieves soreness in the inner thighs. If you have limited flexibility in the hip flexors, place your forearms on the blocks, keeping the blocks directly under your shoulders. Welcome the opening of your chest and improve your breathing by getting deeper into the pose. Slowly releasing the pose, come up on your hands, inhale and exhale, getting back to your initial pose. Lying down straight on the floor, keeping your knees bent. And now, bring your feet together, the soles of the feet facing each other, to come in Supta Baddha Konasana. If you are a beginner, do not force your knees to touch the floor. With each out breath, try to open up your knees to give a good stretch to your inner thighs and groin. Just allowing this pose here to release all the stress and relax your entire body and mind, while at the same time, it's working on increasing the flexibility in the hips and pelvis. Exit the pose and lower your legs down in Shavasana. Close your eyes and feel that the body is resting. Concentrate on each and every breath and completely refresh your body and mind here. This is promoting a kind of spiritual awakening which is bringing peace to your mind. Allow that peace to capture your stress and let your tension release. Make sure that you stay for at least 5 to 7 minutes in Shavasana. Now roll over to your right side and then slowly get back to sitting. A big, deep inhale, arms up to the sky, and exhale, hands down towards your heart. Namaste.